So my dad was born during the First World War, and when he was about 7, his father shot through and left he and his now single mum to fend for themselves during the Great Depression. When Dad was about 16, he got his first job and he stayed with that company for just the next 43 years, interrupted only by another world war and a tour of duty overseas. Now, as a vocation, it was far from his first choice, but it was secure. It allowed him to provide for his family, and it offered advancement prospects if he was prepared to put in a bit extra, which he did. And he retired from that company as the CEO of the Melbourne division, director of the Australian company, and a life member of Melbourne Rotary. I had a bit to do with his investment portfolio in those later years. Not that I did any investing, he was all over that himself, but I wrote him a simple piece of software to help him with the record keeping for his investments. So none of this points to a man who is prone to taking big risks. So what did his portfolio look like? Well, it was nearly all shares. Australian listed companies chosen primarily for their dividends, and sprinkled in amongst those was some fixed interest investments backed by good quality companies. Now, in some sections of today's finance industry, that would be regarded as a high risk portfolio, all those shares, right? But not to Dad. He understood how business works, he knew not to put too much into any one basket, and he cared about the dividends and never showed any hint of concern about fluctuating share prices. To him, it was just common sense and based on principles that have stood the test of time. Now, he and Mum lived comfortably in their retirement. I think the only thing that ever caused him any stress was the quirks of the computer system and how to negotiate them without upsetting the programmer. So there's a few lessons in there somewhere, and I know of at least one managed fund these days that owes a lot to Dad's philosophy.